जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत।
ಲಕ್ನೋ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
হায়দ্রাবাদ 50 এক্সপ্রেস পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दियो।
I have a confession to make. I'm quite hungover. No, there's no drinking involved. Just hungover after the run fest, the run feast, the brutality of the bat from last night. Those are things that are tough to recover from. When you reach that zenith of excitement, after that, the trough that you reach, I'm finding it tough to climb out of that. But I will try my best. Yeah. Thankfully, I have my dear friends and big brothers here with me.
आसान सी बात है, नहीं समझ रहे?
समझाइए सर।
मैच कितने बजे शुरू हुई? 7:30 को कल
7:30 yes.
सनसेट कब होता?
कल का?
हाँ
5:30
5:36 सनसेट क्या होता? रमजान में क्या होता?
इफ्तार
फीस्ट होती।
या
वही देखे हम।
Oh, you took a very long route to get to this. I was wondering. I was like, oh, the game will begin. But you've just come from Hyderabad, जहाँ पे there's a lot of time to have conversations.
हमारे को एक बार वो बोले 11:42 को बस आती।
ये
मैं दो बार 11:42 क्या रहता? बस स्टॉप पे आना, बस आई तो बैठना, नहीं तो निकल जाना। बस आई तो निकल जाना, नहीं आई तो आएंगी। बट वो ही बोल रहा हूँ मैं।
सर, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल
फीस जो रहती ना रोजे के बाद वो देखे कल आप।
Sir, I just want to say that I'm looking at the analytics real time as we speak because that's the kind of tech that we have here. We have a large percentage of viewers from the UK, from the US, from Canada, from predominantly English-speaking countries who are listening to you speak in colloquial tongue and wondering what you're on about. So would you like to translate some of the things about the bus in particular? Which you found very interesting.
3 गुना लगान।
भाई 3 गुना लगान तो कल bowlers ने दिया था. Exactly. I mean the bowlers were basically just the taxpayers yesterday and everybody else was enjoying themselves. That's right. I'm telling you, the bowlers last night, after a 525 run game, Joy, the bowlers basically just come and say, kya karu, job chhod do?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine Mafaka also? Your first match in, big match, under 19 World Cup, 21 wickets in 6 matches, you come in here and then you go down like that. And he bowled a decent first over, Harsha. You were there.
How old is he? You know what? He's brought his books here.
Yeah, because he's
brought his books here
from school.
Oh, you both must love him then.
Sorry, I sort of laid it for you on a platter, but he's 17 years and some 354 days or something, right? He's just short of being 18.
Wow.
He actually bowled a decent first over.
Yeah.
And then everything started traveling. It all came down to that one catch again. I mean, that one catch is taken. Suddenly the crowd is saying, oh, Hardik got a wicket. That narrative is changing. And poor kid, man. So he's bowling good Yorkers, slightly short, gone. Drags his length back, gone. And there were 38 sixes hit yesterday.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's a record. It's a record for more sixes, record
and
for the highest.
And 20 by Mumbai. Mumbai had actually hit more sixes.
Because Mumbai forgot to hit fours.
That's right. That's true.
And the other number that I saw, Bish and I both, we have this thing, we keep looking at that stat all the time. Only 22 dot balls yesterday.
In the whole day.
While Sunrisers were batting, in the entire innings, if you can keep team to under 35, if you can bowl 35 dot balls, you've done very well as a bowling unit. 40 to 45 is par.
Yeah.
22 dot balls only.
Yeah, it was
insane. It was insane.
It was brutality with the bat yesterday. That's what happened. But I'm sure that the youngster will realize what it is like to play in the big leagues.
Yes.
It's difficult being the youngest in a team, right? I'll tell you that. It's difficult.
See where he's going now.
It's difficult. I'm telling you, I'm so much younger in this team that the books I carry are coloring books, right? So the books I carry. What a colourful start to the show. Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. Did I tell you that that's the show you're watching? But you know that already. You also know I'm Gaurav Kapur. You know Harsha Bhogle. You know Joy Bhattacharjya. You also know Bihan, our producer. Oh, you don't know him. He's the biggest fan of a certain team that we cannot. Can we name it?
No.
I don't think we should name. We shouldn't give the loyalties away, right?
No, we shouldn't.
People will
Other than the fact that it's from Bengal and it might be in a city from Bengal.
That's right.
And owned by
a team owned by somebody who's the who's Jawan, much like me.
Yeah, but yeah. We are not really giving it away, are we?
We're not giving it away. People, of course, Bihan is looking at me saying, no, not Jawan. He's donkey. He's calling me a donkey. Cancel karo tumko. Well, today, the game that we have, we can talk about yesterday's game, and I'm guessing we will talk about that game as the season goes on, and there will be a lot of chatter about that game because it really was one of those. There's always one in a season, Joy, that kind of just endures for the rest of the season.
I think it endures, and I think also what it does do is that this game set a lot of cat among the pigeons because, you were looking at it and saying, okay, Hyderabad, we all looked at the team and said, they've got to have Cummins as captain. It's gone. This year they don't have much of a chance.
Yeah.
Mumbai, we said, okay, very strong team. That one game, because of the way they won it and what Hyderabad did, has changed the narrative totally. Yes. Suddenly you're looking at Cummins and saying, okay, that's why he's a World Cup winning captain.
Yeah.
That's why he's captaining. And this combination now works because Travis said that naked aggression up front changes the entire character of the team.
Even Cummins yesterday, 4 overs 35.
Well, brilliant.
Young Bapaka at one point had bowled the most dot balls in the game. Just to put things in perspective.
Yeah, but we'll talk. If you talk about Pat Cummins, you talk about Bumrah. You have to talk about what Bhuvi did. There was that one over that he bowled for 5 runs.
13th over. Yeah.
Immediately stemmed the flow, changed the narrative, puts the brakes on. Everybody gets, the batters get whiplash almost.
At that point, the asking rate was below the run rate.
Correct. It was manageable.
10 overs, they were 141.
You looked at it and said, Mumbai can do this.
Yeah.
You looked at it at that point, and that's why contextually Bhuvi's over is so important.
Yes.
I think there's an unsung hero there. Jaydev will not cut. There was a few
He bowled
very
a fabulous
clever
third over.
Yeah.
His third over was outstanding. And we were just saying, why is he running in from so far to bowl at 110?
Yeah.
He might as well just stand and bowl 110.
Because he's the Katori master, no? Those Katoris.
He bowled a fab. That period when in 4 overs they conceded 25.
Yeah.
That was the game over there.
That was the game. And of course, the other talking point, which everyone is talking about from Mumbai, why did we see only one Jasprit Bumrah over till the 13th? And by the time he came in to bowl, it was 175. Was that what the score was?
173, I think it was, yeah.
So it was 170 odd. Game over. Come on.
Game over.
Pretty much game over.
No, absolutely. And that's my point. That, I have that what we've been talking about and what he said himself, that right up front, Hardik Pandya had said in his first 2 seasons that there's so much of his captaincy is also with somebody like an Ashu helping from that background.
Yeah.
Now, every coach doesn't work like that. I think Mark Boucher is not. Every coach has his own style. Yeah. So my point is that perhaps he went with a set plan and didn't look at it at that point and said, maybe I need just get one Bumrah over in. See, I need a wicket now.
Didn't react instinctively to the situation.
And
perhaps.
I think maybe it's because he's used to a staff which works in a particular way, which over 2 seasons he's got very used to. Yep. So I'm not saying that this staff cannot or they're not as good. They're fantastic. They must be very, very good. But they don't give him the same service at this point, which perhaps he's used to.
Great observation. Yeah. That's a good observation.
So everyone knew that the game plan was Bumrah to Klaasen. Everyone knew.
Yeah.
So the Sunrisers' game plan, therefore, is Bumrah's not going to bowl up at the top. So let's go hard at everybody else at the top. So it's like both teams are given the same data. It's what you do with the data.
Yeah.
So by the time Klaasen comes in, the game is almost done. Klaasen's the reason Abhishek Sharma got player of the match was it was all set up. Klaasen was, he was 80 of 34 balls. He played brilliantly.
Yeah.
But it was all set up already for Klaasen to apply the finishing
touches. The cake
touches.
was baked and served. Yeah.
It was all done.
Yeah.
And there were 3 Bumrah overs left.
Yeah.
So while Bumrah is away, while the cat is away, everyone was running.
Everyone's making hay. Well, okay. Well, let's come to today's game. I told you, right? It is one of those games that you can go on talking about, and we might I think we'll reference that game very often as the season goes along. It's still early days, and as we're saying, it is still, guest is not God in this season of the tournament because all the home teams are winning, right? All the home teams. Yeah. It reminds me of that dialogue at the end of Munna Bhai when Saurabh Shukla says, "Garbu lage koi aisa karta hai kya?" That's what's happening, right? All the visiting teams are coming and going back disappointed. Can that change today? With Delhi and Rajasthan? Delhi and Rajasthan playing today. Delhi has won the toss at least. Delhi's won the toss. They've decided to bowl first. So Rajasthan will be having a go with the bat Yeah, and they're playing in Rajasthan, by the way. They're playing in Jaipur. So Rajasthan, of course, will be hoping to carry that streak on. Can that happen as well? And Delhi, of course, will be very, very excited to break that. Delhi will really want to break that because in that first game, and Harsha, we were talking about this right now. Their problem is that again, and for any team that becomes a problem, if all your batters become the overseas slots taken by the batters, then your bowling seems, and their bowling suffers a bit.
If you remember when we were doing our preview, one of the things we said was Delhi has a little issue with Indian batters. There's not enough backup. We said maybe, they've got Pant, they've got Bhui, maybe they'll use Yash Dhul somewhere, Pant, and they've got Shaw.
Yeah.
But of the 3 or 4 Indian batters they're not playing one.
Yeah, Shaw's not there, and not in 11, not in 16.
Not in the 16. So that means you have to play 3 or 4 overseas batters in there because they just don't have the Indian batters in there unless they use Kushagra. Yeah. And they've paid a lot of money for Kushagra.
Yeah, simple. 4 crores and he's sitting.
So the other day, therefore, they had to have only Indian bowlers because all 4 of the overseas players are batters, 2 of whom were wicket keepers who didn't keep.
Yeah, that's true. And today, so they have corrected that today. They've got Nokia in, right? They've realized what happened previously. And of course, Nokia, he was one of their retentions, if you remember. So Nokia is there today. So suddenly this bowling, look at it. There's Mukesh Kumar, there's Khalil Ahmed, Anrik Nokia, Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel, Mitchell Marsh, of course, with it's looking slightly better, the bowling today. They are bowling first.
They are, but I think Ishant versus Mukesh was a conscious choice. I think Ishant has a bit of a niggle. Okay. I think they still prefer Ishant over Mukesh.
Yes.
But, Nokia just being there, having a spirit. Look, the point is, you don't get wickets early nowadays. Teams are off. They're off to the races.
Yeah.
And this is Joy Bhattacharjya, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Sanju, Samson is your top 3.
Yeah.
They'll be off to the races. So you need, and you can't today, with just 2 fielders out, you can't contain in the first 6.
Correct.
So your chance is only taking wickets, and Nokia is a genuine wicket taker.
Yep.
That's what they need up front because see, they've got a decent spin attack after that.
Yeah.
But unless if the spin attack comes in when they're already 70 for 1 or something in 7 overs, it's very difficult for them to.
But I don't know. I'm not sure that Nokia will get the new ball because he's not. He
hasn't played since July, I think.
Oh wow.
I don't think he's played a lot. He's probably played a couple of games here and there in the last 8 or 9 months because he's been coming out of injury. He's just come back after the birth of a child. So he hasn't played a lot of cricket.
Okay.
And on some decks, the quicker you bowl, the quicker it goes. So it'll be very interesting to see how Nokia bowls. And they'll obviously include another batter. They'll have to find another batter to come in.
We have the impact list, so we can have a look at that as well and see which batter would come in.
Still no Prithvi.
Big news, huh? That's the big news here, isn't it?
Now,
think about it.
Delhi are chasing. They've already picked Warner, Marsh, Stubbs and Nokia. So you've got to find an Indian batter. So Abhishek Porel is your impact sub when they come to chase.
After he played last game, the way he played against Punjab,
he definitely would be.
He definitely be the guy who comes in there. He was quite good at the end there, sort of to boosted that Delhi score to respectability. Still not enough for 2 points. But, let's have a look at the Rajasthan team. Remember what Joy just said, that they do get off to the races. There's Yashasvi Jaiswal, who's been in brilliant form. Sanju Samson, who always starts this tournament well. Did that in the previous game as well. But there's the thing with Josh Buttler. Anyway, let's come down. We discuss the team and then specific players. Rehan Parag, who's going to be batting at 4 this season, as Rajasthan has said. Shimron Hetmeyer, Dhruv Jurel. And then, of course, their bowling, which is pretty tight. Ashwin and Chahal with the spin. And Trent Bolt, Sandeep Sharma and Avesh bowling quick.
And also, they'll substitute in one more batsman when they're
batting first. They're batting first.
Yeah.
So what they did in the last game was they opted to go with the extra bowler. They brought Berger in and they're saying these 6 batters are good enough for us.
Yeah. So that's what, again, this is the strategy now. So they're playing 3 foreign international players. Now, if there's a batting collapse, Robin Powell comes in.
Correct.
If the batting holds up like this next time, Berger comes.
So you know what? I think they're using this rule
very cleverly.
Well.
Because if Robin Powell has to play, they still have 5 bowlers in that squad already. They still have 5 bowlers and Powell can give you a couple of overs if required. So they already have 5 bowlers. So they can play with that overseas player, and that is why people are picking 3 overseas players.
So Mumbai did it. They did it. Did CSK?
Chennai did it as well.
CSK Everyone's doing it now.
Yeah.
Delhi have to play 4 overseas already. So Delhi have fewer degrees of freedom because of the absence of Indian batting.
Exactly. Their depth, lack of depth.
Yeah.
Lack of Indian depth is a problem. So wherever there is no lack of Indian depth, they're playing 3 and saying, let me have more flex.
Yeah, let's talk about, specifically what you said off to the races, right? Yashasvi Jaiswal, yes, take Sanju Samson, take Joy Bhattacharjya. It's when did you ever think you'd be saying the words that Joy Bhattacharjya's not getting enough runs, right? He got them in the SAT20, right? So he got it in the SAT20. I think he plays for the same team, right? He plays for Pal
Royals.
Pal Royals.
Yes.
Say that quick thrice, Joy.
Pal Royals.
Try it now, please.
I wish.
Pal Royals. So he's for the Pal Royals. He was in the top 10. They need that form here.
Yeah, I think he was the third highest scorer, and he's just, as I said, 403, and you turn around and look at it and say that not good enough. It's obviously because it's Joy Bhattacharjya. He's supposed to be one of the top 2 or 3 T20 batters in the world.
Yeah.
So the kind of form, and also the thing about Buttler is when he's striking it well, his strike rate also goes up. So he doesn't, because he does require a little bit of time. Like Gale, he requires a little bit of time to get set. Then he goes off to the races.
Yeah.
So his strike rate, if you see, has gone down from 149 to about 132, 133.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens to him. It's 138. It's been covered to a large extent simply because you've had 600 odd runs from Yashasvi Jaiswal on the other side.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't enough. Remember, with all that production from Yashasvi Jaiswal, you still didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you still didn't make it. So they need Buttler.
He has to.
At least. Not 890 runs, you're not going to get that every year. But somewhere at least 500, 400, 450, 500 they need from Buttler.
Luckily for him, the upswing started after the World Cup. He had a terrible World Cup as well.
Yep.
And somewhere, I don't know if he's feeling burdened. This is not both at the IPL and at the World Cup, we didn't see Joy Bhattacharjya. We saw a look-alike.
Yep.
We didn't see Joy Bhattacharjya. So I wonder if in the time that he's had, he's just put all these things aside and said, right, at my age now, let me just go and have fun.
Yep.
He's younger than you, but...
Yeah.
With his colouring books in hand. Yeah, I'm going to have fun. today.
But they need him. You're absolutely right, because you've got Jaiswal and Samson.
Yeah.
And then when he gets going, he scores at about their rate. So if he can get going too, this is some batting side.
Yeah, because remember, there's Sanju Samson there. Now, Sanju Samson is very interesting. There's a race happening right now.
Why are we all going to the races all day?
I don't know. We become a very racy show, you know.
Yeah. As you all terms are that also. Winning hands down. Like when you win hands down is you let the bridle go. So you're confident of winning. So
What?
You don't know.
You let the bride go? What?
Bridle.
Bridle?
So you're...
Not BRIDAL.
Oh, this is not a wedding reference.
No.
Okay.
You're just obsessed by Jamnagar.
I'll tell you what, leave him alone with he's got his colouring books.
Yeah, that's right. I was looking for a colourful show, not like this. I don't know where you're taking it at all. I was like, this is getting a little too racy, huh? If you're talking about like bridal customs and all. I was like, what is he talking about? I'm just a child. I don't need to hear all these things. But yeah, there's Sanju Samson. If we talk about Sanju Samson, he always starts the races. I'm not going to say that. He always starts the tournament.
As front runner.
Yeah, he's a front runner.
Also from the races.
Also from the races. But he always does that, right? And then the problem we always have with him, and we're all fans of his, is that this kind of tapers off, right? And obviously, if they have to make the playoffs, they need their captain not to taper off. But again, that C word we keep using with him, consistency. We need him to have a consistent season.
He said something again, I think that was played out today. He said, my job is I'm a boundary hitter. I've got to score those runs as quickly as possible to help my team win.
Yeah.
So he's not a 600 runs a season player. He will make these fabulous scores. If he can get 450, 460 a season, he's doing very well.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing with Sanju Samson this year is that the wicketkeeper slot is open. You don't know if Pant is ready to go to a T20 World Cup yet.
Yeah.
So you don't know. That's up in the air. Is your keeper going to bat in the top 3? Is your keeper going to bat at 5-6?
Yeah.
So is Sanju Samson going to say, doesn't matter, just look at my runs? Or is he going to say, I'll bat at the number that I can bat and I'll break the door down? Which is why this season is very interesting. He started off like he always does.
Yeah.
But can he be even better round the bend and into the straight?
Yeah. Oh, nice. Giving us a horse racing reference now.
He's just staying in horse racing only.
Yes, I love it. I haven't seen Harsha horsing around like this in a very long time. I'm a big fan.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Nay, I never say nay.
Nay, there you go.
He's not a naysayer.
Yeah, saddle up, everybody, saddle up. The bowling, in fact, if you look at the spin bowling of Delhi very happy with their spin bowling because they have bit of both, right? They've got Kuldeep and they've got Axar. You can't ask for it to be better, right? Today there's I really like the battle of spin today. Because you've got Chahal and Ashwin on one side, you've got Axar and Kuldeep on the other side, you've got like the 4 premier India spinners.
Yeah, the 4 most accomplished spinners are there, and I think it'll be fantastic because it's a large ground. So it suits spinners. In that sense, spinners have a little bit more latitude than they get. In Bangalore, you shouldn't have a spin competition, Whereas now, Savai Mansingh Stadium,
Chahal must be going nuts, right? Chahal after bowling
I only hope there's no dew, because otherwise Ashwin Chahal bowling in the second half, it'll be great fun. Kuldeep is at the height of his powers. Kuldeep has never bowled better than he is bowling in the last 12 months or the last 10 months, 12 months. So Kuldeep and Axar versus Ashwin and Chahal, the only person outside that you can sort of think of is Ravi Bishnoi on current form. But I only hope there's no dew and we can enjoy seeing 4 top spin bowlers.
Yeah, and let's look at the numbers. So, Kuldeep, we're talking about Kuldeep, so let's just carry on speaking about him. Because Kuldeep, again, spent some time in the stables when he was with Kolkata. And then he comes here with Delhi and there's something that just got unlocked in him. We've spoken about it so much. And look how much it has got unlocked.
No, totally. And I think that's very interestingly, if I remember right, it all started off by literally during the 2019 World Cup also. Before the World Cup, I remember Rohit Sharma, though he was an MI, meeting him and chatting with him and just, keep him in the game. Because at that point also, Rohit realized that he was very important to India's prospects. And I think he's benefited from just going out and getting that freedom. And sometimes, one more thing I want to say. We were going through this list that, every KKR supporters will say, oh, these are the players I've left.
Yeah.
But every MI supporter can also say so many players MI has left, and RCB, if you start that, there's a book that can be written about it. So the truth is, sometimes it's not just the teams are good or bad, it's that situation doesn't suit you.
I love how Joy mounts a defense before the attack is made.
What do you mean mounts a defense? I was just...
in all fairness, if it's 17 seasons, you can see all the teams have let go a superstar 11, right? An all-star 11.
Exactly.
I think the one that really surprised everyone was early days when, I think before the first bend, when Delhi cleaned the decks completely after 3 years.
So they had...
Everybody go.
So they had at that point...
Viru.
Viru State.
Sorry, Viru State.
Gautam Gambhir,
Russell.
Tilak Ratne Dilshan.
Russell they released next time.
Oh, Russell has been with KKR since 14.
14, yeah.
So in the first 4-5 years, so that was really early when they they could retain and they let people go.
In 2011, they had the best squad by then and they just left off everybody.
In all fairness, I think Kuldeep has got to do with the Dhoni effect more than the KKR effect. Dhoni finished 2018-19, right? By 19, Dhoni was already finishing. Dhoni had a huge part to play in Kuldeep's bowling.
Okay.
So, literally, Dhoni would be standing behind and say, ye kar, literally. So the 2 years after Dhoni are the 2 difficult years for Kuldeep. And my theory is they coincided with him playing for KKR.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so by the time he's come back a physically stronger bowler and a more confident bowler, he's now come to Delhi. And as it turns out, Delhi gave him the freedom and Delhi told him, you're going to play all 14 games, come what may.
Yep.
And so he becomes a better bowler. But he's at his happiest. You see him at the ground now and he'll come from behind, he'll slap you on the back. He's chirpy, he's happy, he's confident. That's all part of it. And he's bowling beautifully.
And also he doesn't have so many other bowlers around him, or also, Kolkata, you write down spinner number 1, Sunil Narayan. You have written it for the past 10 years, you'll write down.
Yeah.
Then you'll write Varun Chakravarti. So anyway,
Robert Clive, then Sunil Narayan.
Exactly.
You're talking about
Sunil Narayan came a bit earlier than Clive.
You're talking about Kuldeep. You're talking about Rohit Sharma, and we've also seen how he kind of picks talent, and he sort of backs talent in that conversation that he had. Kuldeep, in fact, told me that he says Rohit told him after he recovered from NCA, he says, "Ab tu wo karega jo main bolunga, theek hai, aur tu kar." And you see what happens, right? So it was even then, like Kuldeep has said. So I think there are some players, and I guess all players will just flourish under leaders who will who will back them. And I guess Kuldeep is getting this here from, from Ricky Ponting. He's getting this from the team management. That's why he's there. Axar also. Akshar's another player that they value. Axar is, in fact, was one of the all-rounders of last season.
Yeah.
You saw what he did last season with both bat and ball. 10 plus
one
wickets,
of your lead
250
bowlers,
runs.
yeah, one of your lead bowlers is giving you 304 runs at a 140 strike rate. What more do you want?
Yeah.
Axar was one of the stars of a disappointing season. Look at his economy rate with the ball. I was 7.1.
You know, it was really weird though. Sometimes last season, you felt like they'd forgotten that he was still to come to bat, right?
Yeah.
There were times when he was coming in at 8, I think 8, he came in a couple of games. But last game also, he came in at 7. So
this is what I do not understand, because Axar bats higher, and rather not regularly, but has batted higher for India than he has for Delhi.
yeah.
What
He's
happened, I
finished
think,
matches
was
for
Joy,
India.
because
the
they
West
played
Indies.
4 overseas batters, their top 6 were all batters, and so Axar became 7. He's perfectly capable of batting 6.
Yeah.
Perfectly capable of batting 6 in the IPL.
I find it a little surprising. And I think that's what happens, right? With the Harsha, is it fair to say, with such a tight tournament, right? With just the margins being so minuscule, it is these kind of instinctive plays that you make, like we're talking about last night.
Yeah.
How you talk about instinctive plays that you can't go with that sheet of paper. You've got to change it at that point in time, whether it's happening in the dugout or on the field, wherever it's happening. It's these little margins which just expose that thought, that little predictability that differentiate the top 4 from the ones who don't make it.
Definitely. And if you look at the Delhi squad today Delhi are chasing, right?
Yeah.
Delhi are chasing, so Axar is batting second. Is he going to come in at 6, or is the impact sub again going to come above him and he'll be down to 7 again? I'd like to see him at 6. If Abhishek Porel is the impact sub, say a Mukesh Kumar or a Khalil Ahmed goes out, I would like to see Axar continue to be at 6 and to put that impact sub at 7. But just look at that chase. If they're chasing 170, 180, they don't get that start from Warner and Marsh. They're looking very thin, because remember, Rishabh Pant is at the moment still a movie story.
Yep.
You cannot expect Rishabh Pant to come and be the Rishabh Pant that he was. It is going to take him 7, 8, 10 games.
Yep.
If he reaches where he was after 10 games, that's still a miracle.
It's still a miracle.
So you can't expect Rishabh Pant to do that. So I think there's a greater responsibility on Axar down in that team as well. Yep. Look, Ricky Bhui's been around for a while. He's not set the scene on fire. He's a good player, but he's not set any tournament on fire. He's had a good season this year. Tristan Stubbs didn't get a game with Mumbai last year. So it's a very sort of fragile batting lineup.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see Axar actually be given the responsibility, like India sent him at number 4 in a test match once.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's
The ball's turning, there's 2 left-handers, go and play.
It's such a good point that Joy makes. He's perhaps the only India player who's playing lower than he plays for India.
Yeah.
Playing lower for his club team than he plays for India. Almost everybody is kind of...
Yeah, I know. That's my point. That if you sometimes what happens is you get categorized. There was I'm going to a KKR example, I'm sorry.
Fair enough,
Apologies.
it's okay. We don't
there
expect
was a year where Jacques Kallis bowled just 12 overs.
Yeah.
And why? Because KKR was full of all-rounders, but you're a captain, Gautam Gambhir, the first thing you look and say that, oh, I've got, this guy is a specialist bowler, I've got to use at least 2 or 3 of his overs. And if you have 7, 8 bowlers, then you end up saying that, okay, Jacques Kallis, anyway, he's going to bat. So you don't think of it. Sometimes you just think of it like that, saying, okay, he's a bowler. He's a batsman. I've got to bat him at 4, 5 or 6. Oh, I mean, Axar is going to bowl as well. But the truth is, I feel Axar should be batting at 5. In this batting order, Axar deserves to bat at 5 or 6.
Okay, well, we'll see today what happens. That's going to happen second, because Rajasthan, of course, is batting first, and they'll be hoping to, of course, get an explosive score. And it can't be as explosive as yesterday. Now, the thing is, what's happened is our habits have gone bad. After 277, today 200 also is going to be, yeah, it was all right.
I mean, yesterday there was a stage at which suddenly you're saying, will 263 get crossed? I mean, you're saying, looks like they'll get 230, 240 today. I had 230 the bunch, 240 bunch. Suddenly, it happens all. 263 cross ho jayega.
Yeah.
And they sailed over, man. They sailed over.
And in the second innings, 141 for 2 in 10, you say?
Can they? I'm telling you, the Hardik who was the finisher in 2020, if Hardik, the 2020 finisher, was there, they might actually have chased that down.
It would have been bizarre, man.
But anyway, that much about yesterday.
I just tell you, there was a time when you saw the projected score on screen, it was 330. I'll tell you something, it didn't seem funny. It was like, you know what? Could be as well. All right, here's something that's going to pop on your screen that never seems funny, because it's always difficult. the joy factor question. Over to you, sir. Please.
Okay, on this cricketer's test and one-day international debut, on both his test and international debut, Virat Kohli struck centuries. During his IPL debut, Zaheer Khan was captain. Who's this cricketer? That's all.
On his test debut, Virat Kohli hit 100. On his ODI debut, Virat Kohli hit 100.
Yeah, and both times he was man of the match.
Kohli was man of the match.
Yeah.
On his birthday, one second, what did that have to do
On
with
his debut, Baba.
Oh, was birthday not written there?
No. But
Oh, Sanju, I was thinking birthday.
Because of the dessert yesterday, with the cakes yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I should. So here's the thing. I've given up on these questions so much that I'm not even reading.
No, I think it's
I'm
a
not even
fair.
reading
I
them
think it's
anymore.
pretty,
And I've given you
pretty
some
clear
decent
which
hints.
team he played for in the IPL.
Correct.
Now you got to look at among the players who played in the IPL, maybe non-Indian, or could be an Indian also, for all that you know, on his debut.
You see, this is why I prefer my colouring books. It's so much more fun. Easier also. Okay, I'll tell you one game that's not easy is the score prediction game. What is it going to be? Rajasthan batting first. Come on.
Now, when I came in today, I was told there's a leaderboard forming.
That's right.
And I was told that there's a guy who comes with crayons and colours.
That's right.
And for some reason, he gets his tukkas correct.
Always.
And he's
So
on
start.
top.
That's true.
So start.
It's basically, it's you know what they say about the IPL.
Because what he does is, he feeds off us and gets it right. You start today.
It is, so just like the IPL is...
No filibustering, just start.
Is a 9-team tournament to decide who plays the final against Chennai. This leaderboard is basically a glorified race to number 2 position. Because the leader in leaderboard is me. So
now tell
today,
me,
I'm going to start with 191 for Rajasthan.
I'm actually going to go lower. 177.
177.
I was about there. I'll go 181.
Oh, इतना pass park कर दिया दोनों ने गाड़ी अपना. They're not even, it's like, the thing is my odds increase, right, when they do that. Will they change after I've given them this piece of insight that they did not expect from me? That's way too much data and analytics.
Yeah.
But 191, 181, 177, those are our score guesses. What are yours? Tell us on Twitter. No, sorry. X, formerly known as Twitter.
Is that why the question had an X on it?
That's right. Because people have to reply on X.
X.
You're getting it. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox, so do join us then. Now I will go and do my real job, which is order dinner for Harsha and Joy, because that's why they call me here. You were watching Cricbuzz Live. Thank you for watching.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दो